It's funny, I was again talking about this with my husband earlier on today, because we were talking about what is the difference between a Republican and a Democrat? Like, what is essentially the difference? Because I know I have very good friends who are Republicans who I respect enormously, and you know, they have taught me a lot and they have changed the way I view the world and so on and so forth. But essentially, I wonder, is it that Democrats are able to utilize their imagination and a Republican is less imaginative? I mean, I don't know. I'm musing out loud. I have no answers. I'm just curious about what drives someone towards the left and what drives someone towards the right, because it's certainly not that one side is good and one side is bad, one side is really smart and the other side isn't. It's nothing to do with that. So what is it that drives us towards these embattled positions that right now in America seem so acute? You know, there just seems to be no merging of the two sides, and I'd love to know why. I wish I knew more about how that all works.
I think people are very easily influenced. I think people are very tribal. And I think it's very easy to influence someone to get them to adopt a predetermined pattern of thinking. And if that predetermined pattern of thinking is right-wing or left-wing, if you're around those people and you seek social status by committing to a certain ideology, you get embedded in it, it becomes a part of your thinking, becomes a part of your life, and then that is the pattern that you dig deep trenches in terms of your psychology. You dig deep trenches in your mind that are unwavering. And whether they're left-wing or right-wing, it becomes very problematic when you have two teams like that. We were talking about Holland the other day, that Holland has something like 17 different parties, that viable parties, you know, unlike what we have, where we have this 1, 2, and then we have a few joke parties, like the Green Party, that no one takes seriously, Libertarians, nobody takes seriously. They never even come close to winning. And when you have one or two, and one of them is conservative and one of them is liberal, it just automatically people identify with one or the other. And they, whether it's from upbringing or the community that they're attached to or what have you, or life experiences past, positive or negative, they just immediately gravitate towards one or the other. They dig in, and then they start talking shit about the left, or they start talking shit about the right. And, you know, you got Salon.com and you got Fox News, and everybody's lobbing bombs at each other, and it's just fucking weird.
But why have we not seen any break? I mean, I get that generally speaking, like I understand, and I totally agree with what you're saying, that generally that is what occurs. Mm-hmm. But surely on both sides of the fence, you have free thinkers. There must be a few.
There's
on
more
either
now
side.
than I think. There's more now than ever before. But this is a very weird time in terms of Trump and Trump winning, because he's sort of engaged they've sort of, there's a bunch of people that are not necessarily political that are really into being a right winger now. It's almost like online trolls and people that just like to be a part of a team, and they just like to fuck with people who they call snowflakes or liberals. It's weird. It's a weird time. I think we're going to get through it. I think it's like the Goldwater Republican days. It's like, I think we need to have like bad examples that we need to go, well, let's not do that again. Yeah. And then collectively.
The arc of history is long.
It is.
And the age of the world is infinite. So.
It is, but America is young as fuck.
Yeah,
and that's part of the problem. It's this weird new experiment in self-government that's really only been going on for a few hundred years. Yeah. And it's easy to look at a few hundred years as being a long time, but it's really not.
No, it's not.
Especially you guys in Scotland, you guys have been around forever.
We've been around forever.
Fucking Braveheart days and shit.
Yeah. But the thing about the free press, that's what worries me as a foreigner living in this country and seeing this sort of stuff that's being spewed about the free press really is worrisome.
It's worrisome when it comes from the president himself.
That's kind of what I mean. Yeah,
there's only been two presidents in our history that have actually gone to war with the press, and one of them was Richard Nixon. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is just a unprecedented time that someone disrespects the idea of the press and news. This
and
is where
ideas
people
being challenged. Like, yes. I get it. Like, nobody likes getting challenged. It doesn't feel very nice when somebody goes, no, I disagree with you. It doesn't feel good. But, aren't we all at the point where we're willing to at least listen and start? Like,
we should be.
Yeah, but it's very scary, I think.
Well, he's a dictator in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he was challenged the other day by CBS. They were asking him about Obama wiretapping. And,
the lie that he made up.
Yeah,
about, yeah.
and he wound up. There's some. You could say it was a lie, but there's some validity to it, where there was some surveillance being going on, but whether or not it was Obama or whether or not it's standard surveillance that the NSA has been perpetrating for a long time,
which I think was the case.
I think it's more that than any. I think fucking everybody's getting spied on. I mean, I think that's really what's going on. So you can say, I'm being spied on. I think you'd be correct, but you say Obama's spying on me. I don't think that's correct.
Yeah.
So I think
he walked out the interview.
Yeah, he walked out when they were challenging. He doesn't like being challenged. He doesn't, he doesn't like anybody questioning him, and he feels like he could just leave. He doesn't feel like the press is important. He feels like he's got a strong enough base, and all these people that will just yell out fake news. I mean, he's made this sort of meme when he pointed to that CNN guy and said, "You are fake news."
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Is a scary time.
Yeah, very disturbing.
But I think, in some ways, that's good. And this is why. I think we need, as human beings, need resistance. We need something to push back against.
Yeah.
And it helps us. It helps us sort of reinvigorate our collective ideas and reinvigorate, knowing now that this is possible. We didn't know that this was possible before.
No.
We didn't think he was going to win. And if he did win, Jesus Christ, we didn't think he was going to win like this.
No,
and didn't think that he was going to sort of dismantle the EPA and do all these different things he's doing, take away the fucking satellites they use for climate. I mean, there's a lot of shit that's going on that's very problematic to science and scientists. And they're being really frustrated right now. So now they know. Now they know, and now we know.
No, I totally agree. And I think the US press, since September 11th, have actually, the standard of journalism has been sliding now for a decade, if not longer. And now all of a sudden journalists are being held to account, and they are having to step up their game again, which I think is great for the American people to enjoy good journalism.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yay! So we managed to take something relatively...
I think it's
sad.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the same thing that's kind of happened to the music business. I think journalism experienced this new wave of media and information being distributed by anyone, whether it's Breitbart or anyone who just creates a blog and just starts pumping out their agenda, Huffington Post, Salon.com, whatever it is. They become these aggregates for news that they feel fits with their agenda, the agenda that they would like to promote and push. And, whether it's full left-wing like Salon.com or full right-wing like Breitbart, both of them are problematic. And that's where the New York Times has to really step up. And
I think they're trying to.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird times, but weird times create great art.
No, it does. It creates good people too. It's good for... I think what you were saying earlier on is really true. Like when people are tested, that's when you see them at their best.
Yes.
So...
Pressure creates diamonds.
Pressure creates diamonds.
Yes,
I'm stealing that from you.
It's not mine.
Who
Steal it. I don't know. It's an old term, I believe.